Hello, my Chunsters! My name's the Chun, and it's time to have some fun with Host Pro 2.0, episode 10. Now, right off the word go, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. You see, once again, Marcus isn't going to be with us. He has got work at 5 a.m., so as you can imagine, he's in bed. Thing is, I'm also going into work at 5 a.m., I'm going to be here. I'm here anyway. I mean, without me, the show can't happen, and I'm not willing to let that sort of happen, if you know what I mean. So I will be here, but it probably won't be a long episode. That said, I do not have any shortage of excellent topics to give you, because I do have some incredibly good topics. The first topic will be Wrestlemania, and then the Raw afterwards. It's sort of a joint topic in two separate parts of that topic. Then we've got some speculation about Jurassic World. I don't think I've talked about the movie before, so I'm kind of looking forward to doing so, because, God, there's a lot of stuff coming out about that movie, and it looks awesome, so I want to talk about Jurassic World. And then we also have news about a mystery car, which none of you have ever heard of, or at least I wouldn't expect you to have heard of, because, in truth, I only found out about it earlier today. Precisely, what's the time? 2 hours ago at 6 o'clock, I found out about this car. So, yeah. And trust me, when you do hear about it, you are going to wonder just why. And then I'm going to tell you why you haven't heard anything about it. So which one should we go with first? Which topic should we go with first? And also, right from the word go, I suppose we should get the point out of the way. If anybody does have any questions they want to send up to me, or hopefully in the future, Marcus, let me know, and I will do my best to address any questions. It'll be sort of like a Q&A, hopefully a section of the show every week where we just answer audience's questions, no matter what they are or how wacky they are. And that'd be excellent. I'd quite like to make that a weekly segment, because that would just be pretty cool, I think, to be able to tap into the unused resource that is all of you out there. That would be brilliant, and I'm sure we can create a very entertaining and quite funny segment of the show. And that's sort of where I'm going with that at the moment. I'm thinking it'll be good to have that on the show, and I'm not wavering from that train of thought. I think it, and most certainly will be one of the, probably will be one of the funnier segments, I think, of the show going forward, if we can get that to happen, because there are 676 of you guys out there now, which is just, God, that's cool. That is really cool, and it'd be lovely if you could send in your questions, and then we can answer them, and hopefully it'll be funny. I think it will be funny. Anyway, first things first is we have the car. I'm going to do the car topic first, because I think that's probably the bit that people are least interested in, so I didn't do a very good job of hyping it. So the car is called the LN2 Streamliner. Yeah, exactly. You haven't heard anything, have you? You see, now the thing is, I don't know much about the engine or the styling or the specifications. In fact, I couldn't find any decent pictures of it, or any that I've normally put up there. So we're not going to be doing a screen share, because, like I say, I just couldn't find any really good pictures. So anyway, the LN2 Streamliner. We do have technical specifications. We do have performance figures, and I'm going to go through them for you right now. We are looking at 1,700 brake horsepower and 1,610 pounds per square foot of torque, which is absolutely mental. It's enough to make your brain hit the back of your skull and give yourself an internal concussion. That's a lot of power. Seriously large amount of power. Let me put it this way. That is practically a Ferrari F12 more powerful than a Bugatti Veyron. I can't believe I just said that. F12 more powerful than a Veyron. It's 700 brake horsepower more powerful than a Veyron. 700! It's like, what's the point in that? What is the point? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the point is. There's probably no racetrack in the world you can even begin to exploit that kind of performance. However, let's just continue. A 0 to 62 takes 2.2 seconds, so they're not limited by traction in the same way that the Koenigsegg Regera is at 2.5 seconds. Nope, 2.2 seconds for the LM2 Streamliner, so that's pretty quick. It's really quick. And then 0 to 100 takes 4 seconds. So, again, insane. Literally ridiculous. Not even the Roadrunner could move faster than that. I mean, that is just ridiculous. But even more ridiculous is 0 to 200 in 11.1 seconds. And in case people don't actually fully appreciate that, or what that really means, it means this. This car can accelerate to 200 miles per hour as fast as my car can do 60. Want to let that soak in for just a little moment? Your car most likely can do 0 to 60. Let's say you have like a 1.4 litre hatchback or maybe a 1.6 litre German saloon car. This car will do 200 miles an hour as fast as, if not faster than, your car can do 60. So if you think your car feels sort of brisk at all, this thing's just going to completely destroy it. So the next thing up is the power. No, sorry, not power. We've already done power. It's top speed. The top speed is 290 miles per hour. Yeah. So not quite the triple century, but damn as near, makes no difference. That's 290 miles an hour. And like I say, there's literally probably nowhere in the world where you can go and you can actually experience that kind of, I don't know, top speed. Apart from wherever they test like land speed record cars, there's literally nowhere on Earth that you can experience the full potential of this car, which means it's practically pointless. It's pretty much a worthless car, really. No prices yet, but here's the deal. Like I say, you've probably never heard of the LM2 Streamliner, and here's why. It's not entirely real, or at least not yet. It's a car that's in development, and at next week's, or is it tonight? Might be tonight. Oh, I'm losing track of time again. I hate it when that happens. But it's unveiling at this year's, there you go, that's how I can keep it relevant, this year's New York Motor Show. They're unveiling the prototype for it, which is just... Thing is, it's all very good unveiling a prototype, but are they actually going to unveil a production car that can do that? Probably not. My guess is no. I don't think you're going to see the let me get this right, LM2 Streamliner. I do not believe you're going to be seeing that car as a production car going that fast. In fact, I have my doubts you're going to see a production car version of this thing at all. In fact, I have my doubts about that. It just seems like something that an engineer just wrote down in a fantasy book and just like, I want to do that. Good on you, son. Good on you. Well, probably not going to do it, but congratulations for dreaming it up anyway. If you know what I mean, it's just a production car that can do 0 to 60 in 2.2, 219 miles per hour, 1,700 brake horsepower. Probably not going to happen. But hey, we can all dream, right? We can all dream that this car will one day become a reality that we can all buy and experience. But the one thing that I do find quite interesting, before I move on from this car, is the fact that in the past, you wouldn't have believed anything like that is possible. In fact, in the past, the most powerful, say, F1 cars couldn't do that. And nowadays, we've got cars which are quite possibly capable of doing what F1 cars used to be able to do. And now this car is coming out, and it's showing that the car performance is still surging forward in quite a strong way. And the reason why that's interesting is because, who knows, maybe in 30 years, maybe in 20 years even, we might well have a supercar, or more likely a hypercar, that can actually go as fast as a modern-day F1 car. Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen as well. I really doubt that's going to happen. But whatever. It might. It just might. And that's the exciting thing. Anyway, we're going to move on. We will move on to something a bit more headline-worthy. Well, I say headline-worthy. I think that car is quite headline-worthy. But something which is more conventional. Wrestlemania! Yeah, Wrestlemania, the grand extravaganza, happened last week. And now I can finally unveil my reactions to it. So, what do we have first? We had the tag team. Well, we're going to kick off. We're going to do the kickoff show. We're going to discuss that one as well. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I didn't forget about that. So, on the kickoff show, we had two matches. We had the Andre the Giant Memorial. Yeah, can't speak. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We had that one. And we also had the World Tag Team title match. It was a four-way tag team title match between Los Matadores, New Day, who are the other ones again? The Usos and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Kidd and Cesaro won. It was actually a pretty good match. Nothing a huge amount to say, really. It's more like organized chaos come the end of it. We saw interesting spots like Natalia Neidhart putting El Torito, a midget in a bull costume, in a sharpshooter. So that happened. Not really sure how best to react to that, but it did. It happened. And I was like, okay, this is happening. And then, of course, we had... there wasn't really a whole lot else that was all that interesting in that match. But, yeah, Kidd and Cesaro won it, which I think is good. I think their tag team is currently pretty good. And it's going to take somebody quite special, I think, or at least quite over to topple that team. It's quite a good one. And it's also quite nice to see Tyson Kidd's basically fully recalled to the main roster and currently enjoying some success. And I think Cesaro also deserves to be having some success. Found himself in the wilderness a bit in 2014, particularly after WrestleMania and the coming months after that. Yeah, he was just a bit here, there, and everywhere, really, was Cesaro. So it's nice to see these two guys finally getting some direction, pushing forward. They've got a good tag team going, and they got the win at WrestleMania in what was actually a pretty good match. And then, also on the pre-show, we had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I can actually say it this time. Big Show won it, which I called. I think I called it. The big surprise, I think, of the match was the fact that the guy I predicted as a dark horse, Curtis Axel, they didn't decide to go down the whole... they didn't decide to go down the whole shock road. They didn't try and surprise the audience at all by like having him get thrown out and then come back in and then claim he survived the whole match. No, everyone just sort of ganged up on him and threw him out right at the start. And I was like, I was like, there you go. That's WWE crushing another over angle. Seems to be the best. Seems to be the way WWE does business now. If the audience likes something, WWE just tries to crush it as quickly and as ferociously as possible, and therefore they try and draw that audience with something which the audience doesn't want to see. That seems to be the WWE business model at the moment. Whatever, it's keeping them alive. But yeah, so Curtis Axel thrown out immediately. Wasn't very pleased with that one. I thought that one, there's potential in that angle. Other key points of the match. Ascension had a couple of good moments before they both got thrown out. I think it was Big Show threw them both out at the same time. But they did have a couple of half-decent moments. And the Ascension, again, is looking like a team which is in that area where it could go one way or it could go the other. And I'm really not sure what to make of the Ascension at the moment. I don't see them going very far. Just the way I see it. It's going to take something for the Ascension to get booked some momentum, but a decent performance in the Battle Royal all the same. The next big point was Ryback. He seems to go on a bit of a tear. Had a lot of moments. Eliminated Kane, and Kane continued this trend of being the big red pussy and basically doing not a whole lot. Which seems to be a trend that this WWE is going with in terms of Kane. I think maybe they're just building it up to the point where Kane just snaps and goes on a vicious tear and once again puts on the mask, once again is resurrected, as if we haven't seen it a million times before. But it seems to be the way they're going. I think the WWE is building Kane up to a big red snap, and therefore back to the monster he goes. So what else happened in the Battle Royal, which was good? Oh yeah, Hideo Itami made his main roster debut, so to speak, in the match, and actually had a good moment. There's quite a fair few bits. There's quite a bit of a pop for Hideo Itami. I've got to be honest. I think the crowd were quite into him, and then the Big Show just squashed him, threw him out, and that was that. And that wasn't well received by the fans. The fans didn't like that. I gotta say, I expected it to happen, but again, it's disappointing to see happen. You would hope that WWE would actually, at the very least, try and keep Hideo Itami going for a bit, but no, Big Show squashed him, and the fans booed it, which I think it's encouraging for NXT guys that Hideo Itami can go up there and sort of get cheered the way he did, and then get a pop and then boo for the guy who eliminates him. That's quite encouraging for Itami. Then we had Mizdow betray Miz. Finally, about time it happened. We've been waiting for that for a while now. I was wondering if it was ever going to happen, but it finally happened, and that got quite a pop. And then Big Show, of course, got rid of Mizdow, and that was it. That was the match. It was good. It was decent. It was decent at this point. I was still enjoying Wrestlemania at this moment, so that was good. And then we cut to the opening match of the show, which was the ladder match, the Intercontinental ladder match. Couple of big moments in this one. Couple of very big moments in this one. We saw guys like Luke Harper powerbombed Dean Ambrose through a ladder. And my God, that was quite a scary bump because of the way that the ladder sort of broke, and then Dean Ambrose got put quite beautifully onto the back of his neck, and that looked like it really, really, really hurt. He was there the next night though at Raw, so he obviously wasn't that badly injured, but Jesus, that was a scary angle to watch. And then we had another scary angle. It was Bad News Barrett and Ziggler. Yeah, Ziggler. It was Ziggler. I think it was Ziggler. I'm starting to doubt myself now. No, I think it was. And they did a superplex off the top of a 20-foot ladder. Now, sometimes you see superplexes off of like the normal 10-foot ladders. This ladder was like a ginormous ladder. This ladder could have been called Andre. It was that big. And they did a superplex off of it. And it's like, just that was a scary spot to watch. And both of the guys though they pulled the spot off perfectly. It was a perfectly executed spot actually. A very spectacular moment in the match, and I've got to say it was a good moment. And yeah, definitely frightening though when you first saw it. You're like, oh, they're not. They did! They actually did it. And then, so the most important thing in the match is the winner. It was Daniel Bryan, which, in fairness, I think a lot of people expected. A lot of people saw that one coming, I'm sure. And yeah, Daniel Bryan, he won it. And it was... I must admit, I didn't call it, I don't think, on the podcast. I think I said it was going to be somebody else. But yeah, Daniel Bryan did win the match, and there we go. It was all right because it was a consolation for him not being in the world title picture. So I can live with it. I'm quite pleased that he won the match. Only question is where they're going to go with the Intercontinental title. Who's going to take it from him? I don't know. That's probably quite a way down the road, though. To be honest, assuming he doesn't get injured, it's quite a way down the road. Yeah, no, it was a good match. I think it was a good match to kick off WrestleMania. Although me and Marcus were a bit surprised it was on first. So next was Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. Now, it was a match that the match went exactly how I expected. A lot of countered spots, a lot of the standard spots, but a very well wrestled match. It was a well wrestled. Again, I can't talk. It was a well wrestled match, and I kind of thought it would be. I thought it would be, and I got to say it was a good one. On second, and the finish was spectacular, though. Seth Rollins is going for a second curb stomp. He tried earlier and failed to get the pinfall, but he's going for it again. And as he pressed off to deliver the curb stomp, Randy Orton just stood up, launched Seth Rollins into the air like a good 7 feet or so into the air, caught him with the RKO, and it was it. It was a proper RKO from out of nowhere moment. But my God, it was a good spot, a very good way to end that match. And I've got to say, that was a good match, and I'm very happy with the way it ended. But it left Seth Rollins looking a little bit buried. But no, don't worry about that. It was a good match, and I think putting in a good performance against Orton was always a good builder for him. So then. And now this one was surprising. Me and Marcus, we were quite surprised that this happened in the order it did. It was Triple H versus Sting. A couple of things of note in this match. First of all, the show went live at something like 4 p.m., which means it was broad daylight. 5 p.m. I think it was, sorry. It was broad daylight for Sting's entrance, and it just had literally no impact at all. Virtually no impact on Sting's entrance. And I've got to say, I was a bit disappointed by that, because I thought Sting's entrance would be spectacular, but nope. Nuh-uh, not really. Shame, really. And then we had Triple H's entrance, which was pretty goddamn awful. Okay, so it was a tie-in for the show sponsor, Terminator Genesis, and it shows Judgment Day imagery from the movies. Terminator Arnold Schwarzenegger delivered the line, "I've been waiting for you, and it's time to play the game." And they had just a load of Terminator imagery, but it came off cheap, tacky, and extremely cheesy. All this, by the way, all of that point I just made, punctuated by the extremely confused and somewhat disappointed look on Sting's face that his debut match had been turned into quite a cheesy moment. So, yeah, this one wasn't great. That entrance was not good. I get the intention, but it did not come off. It just didn't come off epic. It just came off a bit lame. So the match was happening, and the match was going really well. We had Sting versus Triple H, pulling off all the classic spots, particularly Sting's classic spots. And my God, for a 56-year-old man, I think it is, he can still wrestle like a... It looked like Sting hadn't lost a step. Let's just put it that way. Oh, the hip toss was good. The drop kick was good. Not quite as good as it has been in the past, but he's 56. It was still a good drop kick for a man of his age. And yeah, they're reading off the spots. Scorpion Deathlock, out comes DX. Yeah, okay, it was all right. Sting fought off DX, and we were like, okay, here we go. But me and Marcus were already at this point saying, well, the match does not need run-ins. This match is not one that you need to bring in run-ins for to make it epic. It just doesn't need it. But then we had the NWO come out, which is just weird. It's just weird seeing the NWO coming out in favor of Sting, and then it is pretty obvious. Oh, here we go. It's WWF versus WCW. Here we go. As soon as the NWO came out, and it wasn't just DX trying to help Triple H and Sting basically overcomes the odds match. As soon as it was the NWO, we were like, me and Marcus instantly instantly we both knew it was. Oh god, they're doing a WCW versus WWF angle for this match. Didn't need to be that at all, but that's what they did. Oh, so there's Soldier, WCW. Yeah, great storyline. Yeah, great work, creative, great work. And again, it's just weird having Sting's arch nemesis, or nemesis, because it's plural, because it's the NWO, come out and help him. It's like, this is a bit pissing on the legacy of WCW, really. Anyway, they came out, they helped Sting, and then Sting goes for another Scorpion Deathlock, sweet chin music, so now the match has just become a smorgasbord of interruptions. After that point, though, thankfully, the two factions just let the guys in the ring have at it, tossed them the weapons, the bat and the sledgehammer. And then the finish happened. It was Sting was going for a Stinger Splash, sorry. That's the name of the move. Stinger Splash, and Triple H clocked him with a sledgehammer, and that was about it. And then that was it, yeah, pinfall. Which, yeah, me and Marcus were both just like, oh, come on, really? Sting beats Triple H, yes, another one. Get out the shovel, Triple H. It's just like, he really should just change his special item from sledgehammer to shovel. He really should, because there you go, buried WCW. Oh, we beat WCW again. Look how amazing we are as a company. Do you think anybody's ever going to take us off number one? No, because we're WWF and we're amazing. We look at WWF. We are so incredible. We just took Sting, a guy who we've been trying to sign for years, just so we can squash him and the WCW legacy forever. The final death of WCW. Just kick them in the balls when they've already lost. Because we're the WWF, and fuck the fans, because they also wanted to see Sting win. And that's what the match was. It was just WWF crushing WCW once and for all. It's just like, oh, these supposed stars that WCW had, yeah, they're nothing as well. Thanks, WWF. Thanks for that. And then again, like I said, we saw it coming. As soon as the NWO came out, we were just like, oh, here we go. Yeah, Triple H is going to win this, isn't he? And then me and Marcus, we were proven right. Which is a shame, because I think the match was actually, I think Sting outperformed Triple H. And if I'm not mistaken, Sting is like 10 years older than Triple H. So that really ought not to have happened. If anything, that match left Triple H looking pretty weak, despite the win. In my book. So next on the card we had the Divas, AJ and Paige. When Paige's, I'm gonna say they were pushed up boobs of Paige. They looked big when she came out. I was like, has she had a boob job? And then Marcus was like, Azu had a boob job. I was like, Paige, her tits look bigger than usual. And then he came out and he was like, oh yeah, they do actually. And we're like, we figured it was their costume, sort of pushing them up a bit for WrestleMania. And then the Bellas came out, and wasn't that good a match actually. Mainly just Paige gets beaten up for about 5 minutes or so. Tags in AJ, hot tags, Black Widow. It's over. Yeah, nothing all that interesting, really. I didn't think it was that great a match. But the people who we thought would win won. I.e., me and Marcus, we both picked Paige and AJ to win that match, and we were both proven correct. So that was good. I think they deserve to win that one more than the Bellas. So yeah, I'm happy with the result. But considering they finally get this whole hashtag Give Divas a Chance movement on the go, it's a bit disappointing to see the Divas not really producing anything spectacular and seizing that moment. But nothing much you can do about it. It was a solid match, if nothing else. Then we had Cena versus Rusev. Rusev entered on a Russian T-72 tank, and I thought that Cena would come out on a M1 Abrams tank and blow it up, because fuck you, Russia, probably from the American, but they didn't do that. Rusev entered in a tank, and then the match happens. Lana gets knocked off the apron. Cena then hits the move for the win. Again, not surprising. I think it was pretty obvious when Cena lost at Fastlane that they were just saving Rusev's first one-on-one loss for WrestleMania. And then just say, oh, Rusev lost his first match. What a WrestleMania moment. Yeah, sure. Yeah, they gave it to Cena. I haven't really got anything there's nothing you can say about Cena that hasn't already been said. That said, that point made, there was one quite pleasing spot in the match, and it just shows Cena should have been doing stuff a long time ago, because he went for a springboard stunner type of move. It was a springboard stunner is the only way I could put it, and yeah, it was a good spot. It actually looked good. I was like, Cena, why not just do stuff like that more often? But hey, he doesn't. And he saved something. He saved possibly the most acrobatic spot of his entire career for like the moment when he's in the twilight. So makes sense, Cena. Now's the time to wow the fans. You know, not the point when you actually lost the fans. Never mind. There was Cena won, so who cares? Anyway, next was The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt. And by this point, the arena still isn't dark. So the Fireflies weren't out. And if they were, we couldn't see them. And plus the whole idea of The Undertaker raising the lights. That was completely lost. Completely. Little did I know that Bray Wyatt was actually wrestling this match injured. Earlier in the day, he was working out in the ring, you know, warming up, I guess. And he actually injured his ankle to the point where he was walking around in a cast up until the point where he went out onto stage. So, hell of a performance by Bray Wyatt. Now, I think that must have earned in some brownie points for The Undertaker. And although The Undertaker's only there for a small amount of time, that must have earned Wyatt a huge amount of respect. The fact that Wyatt actually performed that match injured in a very Undertaker-like manner. Yeah, and what a performance actually for Bray Wyatt considering the injury. It was another pretty solid match. Nothing all that special. It was basically as you would expect that match to go, and then The Undertaker pulls out the victory. So, I think I suppose the big story was really how was The Undertaker going to perform in the match? Not really what was going to happen or who was going to win, but how was The Undertaker going to perform physically? Because a lot of people were wondering, is The Undertaker strong enough to do more matches? The answer seemed to be yes. Seems to be yes. I think he is strong enough to continue to do it. Now, he's now got a whole year before the next WrestleMania. I think The Undertaker will be fine. I don't think there was no injuries to The Undertaker in this match as far as we are aware of. So that was pleasing because he got injured in the first Triple H match. He got injured against Brock Lesnar. No injury against Bray Wyatt. So that's good. The Undertaker should be able to go to WrestleMania 32 and retire in Texas, which is his home state, obviously. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to get to see The Undertaker at WrestleMania 32. Bray Wyatt, though, left the match looking a little bit weak, but okay. I'm thinking after the two guys, after Sting and Undertaker's performance at this year's WrestleMania, they should be able to go on to WrestleMania 32 and pull off that dream match. That's what I'm thinking. It's looking likely, and I think both guys will be able to pull off a pretty good match, even despite their age, I should say. So yeah, that was quite nice to see The Undertaker going strong. And then we had our main event. It was Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I tell you what, something which made me laugh was there was a fan in the way of where Roman Reigns was going to enter the ring from, and rather than just wait for him to move, Roman Reigns just pushed the fan out of the way. I was like, brilliant. I was like, credit to you, Roman Reigns. I was rather than like get a security guard to move the guy or something like that. No, Roman Reigns just walks out and pushes him out of the way without even thinking about it. And I thought that was quite funny. I thought that was a good little moment before the match. If only standard fare for Brock Lesnar matches, Brock Lesnar basically dominated the thing. And then both guys got laid out at the same time. And then Seth Rollins cashes in Money in the Bank. And it's on. Triple threat. Brock Lesnar goes for a F5 on Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns hits a spear. Out of exhaustion, though, he's just not able to bounce back up and cover anybody. Seth Rollins bounces off the ropes, curb stomp to Reigns. Rollins walks out with the title, which is good. I'm glad that happened as opposed to Roman Reigns winning the title, because I don't think, with everybody feeling, it feels so forced what they're doing with Roman Reigns right now and so against what the fans want, that I think the fans wouldn't have liked it. And I don't think Roman Reigns beating Brock Lesnar clean would have been a good result. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I did also call there a possibility of that happening. Seth Rollins cashes in Money in the Bank. And it was a good cash-in, actually. Now that I think about it, I don't think they've ever had a cash-in at Mania before. Could be wrong about that. You know what? I'm going to check that up before I go and say... Before I leave you with that thought, I am going to... Oh my God. I've missed a comment from Sealmaster. Oh no. This is the one problem with like doing these host poses. I don't get comments through. Or at least the contractor doesn't seem to be working today, which that's a shame. I missed the comment. That's because it's not coming in from the YouTube comments. That's why. It doesn't seem to... okay, right, that's fine. Let's just... That was a shame. Missed that. So, we have... Who is it? Money in the Bank. Cash-ins. WrestleMania. Because we had Dolph Ziggler cash-in after Mania, and I think that's the closest we had. In history, this is what I want. So the cash-ins, let's see. I want to see Edge. Yeah, that wasn't WrestleMania. Rob Van Dam, yeah, that was ECW. That happened. Edge, again, that was... He won it at WrestleMania and then cashed it in the end. And CM Punk, yeah, that wasn't at WrestleMania. That was a Raw, wasn't it? Then it was CM Punk again. That was, who was it? When did he do it? Again, that wasn't WrestleMania. That was another cash in at Extreme Rules. Then Swagger, yeah, that wasn't WrestleMania. That was the night after, I think. And then you had Kane. Yeah, that wasn't. That was actually at the pay-per-view Money in the Bank. Miz, that looks like Raw that happened. Okay, I think I've seen enough to... I'm gonna say with some certainty, I'm gonna say with some sort of certainty that it was definitely the first at Mania. So that was a good moment for Seth Rollins. And it was a good, as far as WrestleMania overall, though, with Sting losing and Cena winning and no Daniel Bryan in the main event, it was a meh WrestleMania. I don't know if it was the worst of all time. I'm not going to say it's the worst of all time, but just a lack of impact on any regard in any area, in my opinion. There just weren't enough. Didn't feel very special to me. The musical performance was crap. Well, it wasn't crap. It was a good performance. It's just, again, star power wasn't much. There weren't exactly big stars, and The theme song this year's Mania is pretty crap. That's why I say it's crap, because it's a bad song. And yeah, it was just underwhelming. And then comes the night after Raw. Good God. The talking points of the show. Brock Lesnar just going nuts and berserk and taking out everybody. Get suspended, so that's how we're going to see Brock Lesnar get taken out of storylines. So, yeah, that was wild, to say the least. Adrian Neville made his debut, now performing only as Neville. Sort of like a superhero's cape. And you know what? That's suitable. That's better than the whole Mighty Mouse gimmick that was rumored they're going to put on him. More like a superhero gimmick in the way that he can fly. And he produced the vintage Adrian Neville spots with the Red Arrow finish. Oh, that Red Arrow. It's such a good move. It's so much more spectacular than shooting. It's like a shooting star press with a corkscrew. It's such a spectacular move. And I think, I believe Adrian Neville's going to get over quite well, I'd say. Oh, of course, the Lucha Dragons also made their debut on the main roster. That was another good match. Lucha Dragons carried most of that, and yeah, they got a good pop. So it looks like the NXT stars are looking good. The main event. Who was in the main event? This is probably quite bad. I can't remember a huge amount from the show. Oh yeah, and that was the other major point from the show. Is that they set up the long-term feud between Randy Orton and Seth Rollins, which I think a lot of people would have seen coming. But we got the confirmation they are going to be doing Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins going forward. So, yeah, overall it's a pretty decent show, and I've got to say I was pleased with the Raw going forward. I think we've got some interesting stuff going forward. They didn't actually do this on the show; they did this on the network. Sting addressed his future, and nothing much happened. He didn't really say anything much about his future. He Scorpion Death dropped an interfering Bo Dallas, who's back. So that's good to see. Nothing of The Undertaker or Bray Wyatt either. It was a good follow-up, though, actually. I think it was a good follow-up. It wasn't as good as it could have been. Which seems to be the whole theme of WWE at the moment. It was good, but not excellent. That just seems to be the way WWE does business these days. So overall, the 2 days of wrestling were pretty good. So yeah, can't lie. I enjoyed it mostly, and that's the point. I think it was mostly pretty good. So let's move on to Jurassic World. We've had 3 trailers now for Jurassic World, and we're seeing some interesting things happening. So for those of you who don't know what the premise of the movie is going to be, the park's been open for 10 years, and for the pun's sake, I'm going to say it, seeing dinosaurs live in living color, live, and as you live and breathe, that's getting old. See the pun? Yeah. Might as well do it. So seeing living dinosaurs is getting old, and people are starting to not come to the park. Now, to fill the corporate mandate and to try and keep the park popular, they create a whole new dinosaur. It's a hybrid between a certain number of species of dinosaur and a couple of other animals, i.e., what was it? Death adder snake, cuttlefish, and then other dinosaurs, T-Rex, I think that was their raptor. Yeah, animals like this, and they've created a super deadly animal, which breaks out, causes the usual mayhem, everybody dies. A couple of things that are striking me at the moment in the trailers are this. We have a shot when the pteranodons and the dimorphodons are attacking Main Street. or sort of like the Jurassic Park version of Main Street. I don't know. I think they actually might be calling it Main Street, so I think I was right the first time. But the Pteranodon picks up Katie McGrath's character and flies away with her. Now, if you don't know who Katie McGrath is, if you watched Merlin, she was Morgana in that. And other than that, I'm not entirely familiar with anything else she's actually done. No, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head right now. But yeah, she was Morgana, and if I don't believe I'm mistaken with this one. I do not believe I'm mistaken in saying this. If Katie McGrath does get killed by that Pteranodon, she will be the first female character in Jurassic Park history to be killed. I think I'm right in saying that because I don't think a female character has ever been killed on screen before. I'm trying to let me think back. So we had Jurassic Park 1, and yeah, it was Dr. Ellie Sattler. And obviously she survived because she's in the helicopter at the end. Then you had Jurassic Park 2, and it was Dr. Malcolm's daughter and Sarah. Yes, her name was Sarah. And obviously those two survived. His daughter survived the bit in the island. She didn't return until... I don't think she was involved much in this bit when they got back to the mainland in the actual city, but Sarah obviously was, and Sarah, I think, was the one who shot the tranquilizer into the T-Rex at the end. So yeah, those two characters, they survive. And then there's Jurassic Park 3 with the mum, and I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name, even though I'm pretty sure I'm Mrs. Kirby. Let's just call her Mrs. Kirby. Obviously, she survived. She survived that one. So I'm trying to think now if there are any minor deaths. The only one in which a female character would have died is Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. There weren't any female soldiers on the islands on Isla Sorna, so that wasn't... So nobody died there. It would have been in the city. And now I think about it, well, the closest we've come is, I think the closest we've actually come to it is that point where the kid and the parents are looking out, and the T-Rex is just eating the dog from the kennel. The T-Rex roars, they scream. Maybe they got eaten and killed, but we don't see it happen. So that's the closest we've come to it. But yeah, in this film, it looks like a female character is going to get killed. So there you go, equal equality for women. Females are getting killed in Jurassic Park movies just as well as the men are. I'm sure that's the kind of equality that women wanted. Equal opportunities to get killed by dinosaurs. Feminism. And then, yeah, so that's a moment in the trailers that has stuck out for me. The other moment is this Indominus Rex. Is freaking smart. Sorry. Did say I've also got work early on, so I was awake early. You're gonna have to apologize. I'm gonna have to apologize for that. Yeah, the other moment is this Indominus Rex, and so there's been some speculation about how it sort of breaks out, and that's the point. It doesn't really break out to a degree. Not in the same way that T-Rex did in the first film. So, in the trailers, we have a scene where the walls of the enclosure are scratched to hell, and Owen, or Chris Pratt's character, is there with another worker. They're discussing, do you really think it climbed out? To which he says, depends. And they're like, on what? What type of dinosaur they cooked up in that lab? And then later on, there's a scene with the Indominus Rex chasing Owen in the enclosure with that worker, and they show a shot of the scratched wall. Now, what seems to be the story here, what seems to be the way, what I think this is building up to is the fact that the Indominus Rex scratched the wall up, knowing that they'd come, and then goes off and camouflages. Here's the cuttlefish part of the DNA. Goes off, camouflages itself, knowing that somehow knowing they say it's an intelligent animal, so it knows that they'll see scratches on the wall, assume it climbed out, and therefore have to go and investigate, therefore lowering the door so they can get in. And then that's how the Indominus Rex gets out. Comes out, chases after them. God, I'm feeling tired now. And then the other bit that's implied is that the Indominus Rex goes to the classified area, and that's going to be an interesting moment if it is what they say is happening. I mean, that's what's implied, that the Indominus Rex goes to the classified area, rampages, tears everything to pieces. Another interesting point of discussion from the trailers for Jurassic World are the points where Claire, or Bryce Dallas Howard, is holding a flare in front of an opening door. Now, there's been some speculation as to what this is all about. Is it to illuminate something that's dark? Or is she trying to distract something? Or lure something, maybe, as the case may be. Because obviously we all know from the first film, T-Rex was drawn to the light of the flare. So, and at the moment we haven't seen any shots of a T-Rex. We've heard the roar, and we've had this scene, which possibly point to it. And I think this is a strong indication of T-Rex. I think what's going on is Bryce Dallas Howard, or Claire, has gone to the enclosure, T-Rex enclosure, opening up the door with a flare on the go, and it's going to lure T-Rex to Indominus Rex for a fight. I.e., we're going after it with everything we've got. I think that's the point. It's probably going to be the T-Rex. Now, I don't think we're going to see a huge amount of T-Rex in the movie. That's something I don't think is going to happen. I think this is actually going to be the reveal of T-Rex. Or maybe not even the reveal, but I think we're going to see a scene with T-Rex and a lot of people looking bored at it. And then T-Rex disappears from the consciousness of the movie for a long time before Bryce Dallas Howard goes and gets Rex to fight Indominus. And then this will be like the reintroduction, or possibly even the reveal. It might be the reveal, but I think more likely the reintroduction of T-Rex into the storyline for a fight with Indominus. And the overall, though, the thing is, the trailers have been very, very good. I recommend you go and see the trailers, actually, or go and check them out, because they are looking very, very good. And this isn't meant to be a proper trailer analysis, by the way, so that's why I'm sort of keeping the points short. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to the movie now. I'm not exactly expecting it to be good, but it's looking like, let's put it that way, there is a lot of hope for this movie. And I am very much looking forward to going to see it, because I'm a big Jurassic Park fan. So I think Jurassic World will be very, very good. And it's sort of making me think about doing a Jurassic Park Operation Genesis Let's Play. I'd quite like to do that, actually. So you might be seeing a Jurassic Park Operation Genesis Let's Play on the channel as a time with Jurassic World, as in the park is open. And I think the film's going to be good. It's got enough unique points so that it doesn't feel like a redo, but with nods to the original. And I think that's the way to do it. I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, nods to the original, but not just a redo. And I think this film is going to be good. And yeah, I think this is certainly one that you might want to go and see and go and check out. So that's everything I've got. There aren't any comments as I know of. Nothing that's popped up on the comment tracker anyway. See if there's anything on YouTube that I can talk about. Nope. So yeah. Well, that's it for Host Pro episode 10. I said it's going to have to be a shorter episode. I don't have Marcus with me either. Who knows? Maybe next week we will have Marcus back, but next week it will be the problem with next week is that next week we will be going to. It'll be the Sunday before the Monday that we go to Raw. So if we do a show next week, we're going to Raw the next day, and that will mean getting up early in the morning, traveling on our way there. We're thinking about leaving town at 9 a.m. to hopefully get to London by 4 o'clock, hopefully sometime around then. And because the doors open, I think at 6 o'clock, and show starts at 7. So yeah, we're I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I'll be here, but I don't know how long the show's going to be. I think I'm going to want to try and keep the show short, because I also want a big sleep because I'm doing all the driving. So there will be a show, but I don't know if Marcus will be here to do it. That's the thing. I don't think Marcus will be on next week. Hopefully we can get Marcus back at some point. I'm sure we will at some point in the future. Marcus will be back. I just don't know when. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later. Can I do the edge yourself?